Well, hello there! You're looking good today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video in my fall series. My name is Devin Taylor and I'm the owner and baker with Sweet Notes Bakery, and this is a video in my fall series called Fall in Love with Baking. And today we are going to be falling in love with baking the perfect apple pie. We are officially in pie season. It's November and this is when I think everyone embraces pies, even if they don't like them the rest of the year. And so I'm going to help you throughout this video, and we're going to make the perfect pie. And that starts with your base. That starts with your crust. So that's what we're gonna start with today. I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour in a large bowl here. And then to that, we are going to add 1 3/4 cups of Crisco. I do a Crisco based pie dough. Now this recipe is my Italian grandmother's and she calls it never fail pie crust. Well, she was right. I mean, she's right about a lot of things, but it has never ever failed me. So just know that going in. Then I have my pastry cutter here. But what you want to do is just kind of break up the Crisco in here so that it's in some smaller chunks before we add the rest of the ingredients. Once you have the Crisco broken up in there and now it looks like it's kind of pea-sized, we're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to tell you pretty much everything in the recipe, but I am going to leave 1 or 2 little things a secret. I'm willing to share pretty much everything, but some of my family recipes I would like to keep some of those family secrets. Now we're going to take 1 egg, pour that in, and then 1/2 cup of cold water. Now at this point, I ditch the pastry blender and I go in with my hands, the old-fashioned way, and definitely the way that my grandmother does it. You want to mix this. I try to fold it so I'll scoop from one end and push to the center. You can even rotate the bowl as you do that as well. That's going to help everything get incorporated, and you want to do this until it's just combined and comes together. My dough has come together really nicely and really quickly. If for some reason it's still not coming together, just add water a teaspoon at a time. Seriously, 1 teaspoon, work it in. Usually that helps bring it together. Maybe you had more flour than you needed or not enough Crisco. So just do something like that, just a little bit until it forms a dough. The dough should be nice and soft and pliable at this point. You really need to allow the dough to rest. Listen, it's worked hard here. So we need the dough to rest and chill down before we can roll it out and put it on our pie crust. So I like to take the dough, separate it in half, roughly. You're just gonna eyeball it, and then press it into a disc shape. More surface area means it's going to chill more quickly. Place it in the center of some press and seal or plastic wrap. Never foil though. Wrap that up. So I'll do this with both halves, but at least 3 hours in the fridge. Then we will come back, roll it out, and put it in our pie dish and get ready to make our pie. It's been 4 hours, so I have my pie dough chilled. This is actually half of it. And we're going to roll it out to put into the pie pan. So I have the pie pan, some foil, some pie beads, we'll get to all that. And then we're just gonna put some flour down, spread that out. Listen, this part gets messy, you're gonna get flour on you, you're gonna get flour on the floor. It happens. It is, you know, something that just comes with baking. And then before you drop it in there, I just like to knead it just a little. And once I do that, I like to kind of flatten it out into more of a disc shape again. Press it down, put a little bit of flour over top, and grab your rolling pin. And you're just gonna start from the center and roll out. I like to rotate it often so that I'm getting a nice round even shape. So pick it up, make sure you've got flour on the bottom, do a quarter turn, keep rolling, and then you are just going to keep doing that, doing a quarter turn every so often, adding flour as you need until you have a size that's big enough to fit into your pie pan. Here we are, all rolled out. Here's my pie dish. I'm using a 10-inch Pyrex. This one is much deeper than most pie pans. So if you're using a Pyrex in particular, take a look at that because that's going to affect how much filling you need. You need more than probably a recipe would say for that size pie because of how deep it is. So to know if you have the right size rolled out here, you just want to take your pie pan, flip it over, and just let it hover over top, kind of see where things fall. This looks good. I've got extra all the way around, so that's good. Flip that back up. Take your rolling pin, take the edge of your dough, roll it back over the rolling pin, move your pie dish into place, then hold it by the ends, and you can just unroll. See, that's easy. And then you just want to ease it down to the bottom and let the extra hang over the sides. Now, what we're gonna do is just pull some of the extra off the sides before we make any pretty pattern. So I like to feel where the edge of the pie dish is and just push down and pull off. Don't throw this away, save this. And just do that all the way around. I'm going to press it against the sides, which we've already pressed it against the bottom and the edge. Okay. Here's what we're looking like right now. So now you get to choose what kind of edging you want to do. You can do a traditional like pinch edge. You can roll it under and press a fork around the edge. I'm going to do a traditional pinch because on top I'm going to do a lattice and I want the lattice to be the star. All finished. Here's the edge. Everything is nice and smooth and even. So you want to take a fork and just prick the bottom of this. This will help to stop the crust from bubbling up because you want it to be nice and flat, because if you have a big bubble and then you put your filling in, it's going to crash that, but then you're going to have a huge crack in the base. Now, I am going to do something called blind baking, which means I am going to partially bake the crust before I put any filling or topping on it. So when you blind bake, it gives the crust a chance to start before you put especially like a fruit filling in. That stops it from getting soggy, and as Paul Hollywood says, no one wants a soggy bottom. And I took this foil and pressed it into the empty pie pan so that I could get this shape. Then you're just gonna set it down and lightly press it onto the bottom. And then you wanna grab some pie beads, pie weights they might call them. You could also take some kind of beans, just uncooked beans, throw them in here. This is going to weight it down again so that crust doesn't bubble up. Now, at this point, I like to pop it in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes to chill the dough back down and make sure that it's nice and cold, which will again promote even cooking, if I could find the right words, which will promote even cooking when it goes into the oven. So take this time to also preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Pop this in the freezer and I'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Baked it for 15 minutes just like it went into the freezer. It went right out of there into the oven for 15 minutes at 375. I took it out, I removed the foil and the pie weights. You just lift everything straight out, and it went back in for another 15 minutes. And here it is. Still cooling, but it's golden brown and beautiful. So I'm going to start on the lattice top while this cools a bit more. So take that extra dough from earlier, and you still have, like I still have half my dough in the fridge. So if this isn't enough to get it done, you have plenty. And we are going to flour it and roll it out just like we did before. I have it rolled out here, And now I'm gonna get my pastry wheel. Honestly, you could use a pizza cutter if you wanted. You could use a knife. I like the little pastry wheel. This is just a Wilton one that I think I actually got at Michael's because it has a smooth and like a crinkled side. So if you wanted to do a texture, and that's the side I'm gonna use today. And all you wanna do is just make strips of pastry dough so that we can build a lattice over the pie. Today I'm making apple pie. So yesterday I actually made homemade apple pie filling, which I always do, super easy recipe. If you are interested in that, you should definitely check out my TikTok. So I'm going to take that filling that has been chilling overnight now, and I'm going to put it right into our crust here. Be right back. So here it is. Now, because this is a deeper pie dish, I do more apples than a recipe would call for this size, which I did mention before. And honestly, my grandmother, who gave me this crust recipe, completely like ruined me for apple pies. Hers are the best thing you've ever had, and they are apple pies. They are packed. They are like mounded super high over, I don't know how all the apples stay in there, and they're sliced perfectly, and every bite is like, it feels like a whole apple. It's amazing. She is like, that is the standard of apple pie for me. So anytime I think I can get close to that, I'm grateful. Honestly, I could do more in here. I could have done another 2-3 apples worth. But it is nice and full. And now we're going to start the lattice. So a lattice is really easy. I like to start on an edge and work my way in. And that's what I'm gonna do now. If you would like to know a little bit more how to do a lattice top, you've never done one before and you want a tutorial on that, I will link that video at the end of this one. I actually did a tutorial on that earlier in my channel, so you can definitely click on that, watch that, and then pop back to this for the end of it, okay? So here we go, lattice top time. The lattice top is all complete. I did kind of a wider weave this time because I really wanted you to be able to see the apples in there. So now I'm going to brush it with a little bit of egg wash. I just think the egg wash gives it a really nice shine and guarantees that you're gonna get a really pretty golden brown. Now I'm going to just sprinkle the lattice top with some coarse baking sugar. The question of the day here is, what is your favorite kind of pie? For me, if we're talking, you know what, it's gotta be pecan. I love apple pie. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie. I know, things that are gonna shock the world, but pecan pie I think is my favorite. My aunt makes a really good pecan pie. Leave your favorite kind of pie down in the comments below because I want to know. If you have suggestions for other videos or other things you would like to see, drop those down there too. All that's left to do is put this back in the oven. When the top is golden brown and it looks done, it's not doughy anymore, your pie is ready to come out. Pro tip, put your pie dish onto a baking sheet. It's going to make it much easier to get in and out of the oven. Thank you for coming back or watching for the first time one of the videos in my fall series, Fall in Love with Baking. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you are too. I have a couple video ideas left up my sleeve, and then I'm going to be taking a break and just posting every once in a while some Christmas things because the holidays is an incredibly busy time of year for me. If you want to follow me on my other socials, you can do so. I have those in the description box below. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Like I said, me making the filling is on TikTok. I did a whole video on that, so you want to check that out. Recipes I'm willing to share, I have dropped in the description box as well. I hope that whoever you bake for really appreciates it because you do an awesome job. Thanks so much for watching my channel, supporting me and my journey, Sweet Notes Bakery, and my new space coming in Williamsport in the new year. I am so grateful for all of you, and have an excellent day.